Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click the notification bell and click the word all so that you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Okay, so let's get ready to get back into it. A shout out to everyone tuned in. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur. You can also follow the Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur fan page and follow me on Twitter at DGoddess27. Now listen to this. White Lives Matter group protests Juneteenth celebration in Tennessee. Isn't that something? Wow, really? Now, mind you, Black people protest the loss of Black lives due to social injustices. Okay? They're out here protesting because Black people have a holiday. Why do they even care? Every other holiday is theirs, right? Other than Martin Luther King Day. I'm just saying. And so White Lives Matter, a group of white nationalists, held protests Saturday in Franklin, Tennessee, disrupting the city's second annual Juneteenth celebration. And so approximately 10 white men wore matching white t-shirts with matching logos and black skull balaclava face coverings, according to the Williamson homepage. Now, the men also held up signs that read, "Stop white replacement," and "It's okay to be white." Juneteenth is celebrated annually on June 19th, commemorating an important moment in African-American history when Union soldiers marched into Galveston, Texas in 1865 to control the state and inform the remaining slaves that they were free. There were 250,000 enslaved people in Texas at the time, according to reports by the nonprofit organization called the Pew Charitable Trust. But meanwhile, the city of Franklin said in a statement Saturday that another group also crashed the Juneteenth festival. Let's not call them a group. Let's call them what they are, a gang, okay? A gang of thugs, racist thugs at that. This afternoon, they say, festival organizers asked two different groups to leave the downtown Franklin Juneteenth festival. One group was carrying signs that read things like "White Lives Matter" and "Stop White Replacement." The Franklin Police Department had no prior information about the groups and what they were planning to protest during the celebration. So they say the other group, who said they were there to be a buffer between festival goers and the other group, included people who were armed and wearing ballistic vests. Both groups left the area when asked. There was no violence and there were no arrests after Franklin police officers intervened. Protests in both groups were also distributing flyers saying that they were demonstrating because the anti-white system is committed to our spiritual and physical genocide. The pamphlets were handed out to festival attendees before the police arrived, according to a local news station. Now, I want you to pay attention. They said anti-white system. Who owns that system? Who created it? Who holds it up? I'm just curious. There is no anti-white system, all right? And then love the way that they are the villains, these racist people who were out there protesting, talking about White Lives Matter. Love the way that they are trying to play the victim at all costs. This is what they do. And talking about trying to commit their spiritual and physical genocide. What are we doing to commit genocide upon them? Do we poison them? Do we go around killing them with state-sanctioned executions, allowing Black police to murder them while they're unarmed in the streets and minuscule traffic stops? Do we do any of these things? Do we have racist Black people running rampant and running amok and going around and just starting mess with them, talking trash, and then shooting them in their backs and things like that over parking spaces, or chasing them through our neighborhoods and shooting them like they did Ahmaud Arbery? Or kneeling on their necks like George Floyd, raiding their homes and killing them like Breonna Taylor? Do we do those things? Who is perpetuating their genocide? I would like to know. Okay, I would like to know. Maybe they need to look to white on white crime if that's the problem. It's not us. Now, and they're handing out these pamphlets and all of this stuff. And the group's ideas stem from the Great Replacement Theory, which is a racist conspiracy that claims that white people are being replaced by people of color and other minorities. The theory is believed to have cited a series of mass killings in recent years, including Buffalo, New York, and the shooting where a white teenager, fatally shot 10 Black people at a grocery store. The nonprofit Global Project Against Hate and Extremism explains the theory as a white supremacist, xenophobic, and anti-immigrant concept that posits white people are being replaced by immigrants, Muslims, and other people of color in their so-called home countries. The conspiracy often blames the elite and the youth for orchestrating these changing demographics. And the Great Replacement was conceived of by a Frenchman, Renaud Comas. I've told you about him numerous of times. He's a Frenchman who is part of the LGBTQ community, and he wrote that book and all of that in 2011. It was actually called Les Grands Replacements. All right. That's how they said in French. Now, on Saturday, one protester handed out a flyer at the festival that stated that the group is different from White Lives Matter group that protested in Shelbyville, Tennessee in 2017. They say they're different. They say the White Lives Matter rally in Shelbyville in October of 2017 saw high tensions between demonstrators and counter-protesters, but no violence erupted. Now, the area where the protests were held had a heavy police presence, and only one person was arrested after he jumped a barrier. Okay, now, though the Franklin protest on Saturday sparked outrage among community members, some passerbys and vehicles honked in support of the group. I'm sure they did, because they stay on code. White Lives Matter organized marches last year across the country, but some of those rallies were poorly attended or canceled altogether. In some instances, they were outnumbered by the counter-protesters. So let me just say this. The thing is, bottom line, Black people just cannot congregate, get together, and have events with anything that makes the racist feel that it's specifically and only for Black people. So when you talk about Juneteenth, they know that's for Black people because they don't have any need to celebrate Juneteenth. So that's for Black people. If Black people have an all-Black party, an all-Black gathering, there's a problem. If a Black man says, I love Black women, if Black women say, I love Black men, there's a problem. It's so funny how every other group of people, race and ethnic groups, get to love one another, stand up for one another, stay amongst one another and congregate and have things only for their people. But when Black people do something, there's always an issue. Now they're sitting there protesting because of Juneteenth and talking about people trying to commit genocide on them and trying to replace them. What does that have to do? Even if people were trying to do that, which no one is, but even if people were, what does that have to do with Juneteenth being celebrated by Black people? I'm sorry, nothing. Okay, they find any reason. These white nationalists, neo-Nazi skinheads, and all of these folks who think like them and carry their same and harbor their same ideology and their same resentment and angst for Black people, these people look for any opportunity that they can to try to have something to directly go against, contradict what Black people are trying to do. They can't just let us mind our own Black business. No, they can't do that. They can't let us just live our best lives. No, they can't do that. They always have to sometimes come in and just try to keep up chaos, start mayhem and mischief. You're out there with signs protesting a celebration for a holiday that doesn't even concern you, has nothing to do with you, and no one's committing genocide on them. I'd like to know who these people are with this fictitious system that they say is an anti-white system. I've never heard of such. Okay, but it's like I said, it's always interesting when the very devils who are so racist and uphold a system of wanton supremacy want to try to act as though they're the victims in something. Like, this is also crazy. They do the same thing when they talk about critical race theory. Like someone's out to get them because people are simply telling the truth of their actions, past and present. So anyway, make it all make sense. Leave me a comment letting me know what you think about this. They're out there protesting Juneteenth, really? Nothing better to do? Can't let Black people just enjoy themselves. No, that's never going to happen. They have to always be in our business. And really, the whole thing of them coming there to protest was nothing more than the same reason racist trolls get into the chats of pro-Black channels. That's just to cause a distraction, to throw things off course, and to prohibit you from enjoying yourself. That's what it is. They want to bring all this negative, low vibrational energy so they can disrupt whatever you're trying to do because they don't want you to have a good time. No, they don't. Knowing good and darn well that has nothing to do with the Great Replacement, even if they believe that foolishness. Okay? No one's trying to replace them. No one even really cares. No one is even thinking about them until they start making themselves a part of the narrative, until they start inviting themselves to the cookout, until they start showing up and places they're not even wanted, when no one's even bothering them, thinking about them, or any of that. But they always have to be on the scene so they can start something. You know who they are? Provocateurs. All racist people of the Caucasian persuasion are provocateurs. They can't just be racist and keep the racism to themselves. You don't have to like black people. Black people don't care if you don't like us. But what we do care about is when they want to sit there and cause disruptions when we're minding our own business. They want to come and start fights and chaos and holding protests and yelling racist slurs. They want to attack black people when you're driving through their neighborhoods trying to deliver packages for FedEx or UPS, when you're walking or jogging through their neighborhoods, when you're entering a building because they've never seen you before. They want to threaten to call the police, and in fact will make bogus 911 calls trying to get you lynched. They will do all of these things. Now, that's the reason for us to be concerned and even worried about them. But other than that, if they weren't doing any of those things, we'd have absolutely no problem ignoring them completely. But they don't want to be ignored. They want to need our attention. They thrive on it. That's why they always make themselves present when we're doing something that doesn't include them. You see, the real reason they came there to that Juneteenth celebration is because racist people, and racist Caucasians, these are the ones I'm talking about. Because you don't see Asians and, Arabs and other people that are racist towards us. You don't see them doing all of this extra stuff. Okay. The Caucasian racists are always extra, always, never fails. So they have to come and make their presence known anytime there is something being held that doesn't involve them. Okay, remember a few years ago when Black Lives Matter had an all-black party and only black people were supposed to attend? Now the racist people got mad because they weren't supposed to be able to come. They weren't invited. But if you're racist and you don't care for black people, why would you ever want to be invited? It's not the fact of them wanting to be invited. It's the fact that the black people said they couldn't come. Because what you're not going to do is tell them what they can and can't do. That's the problem. That's what it is right there. It's the same reason why when a black man says, I love black women, or black women are beautiful, and then you hear Karen, Kate, and Becky say, well, what about us? What about us? What about you? They have to feel included in anything and everything that we do. And if we don't include them, then it's a problem and we become the racist. Please make it all make sense. Okay, please drop me a comment to let me know what you think about this. So ridiculous and foolish. Like I said, black people can't do anything without them coming, trying to intervene and disrupt and cause chaos. Like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at QueenAhmadiyyah. You can also follow the Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur fan page and follow me on Twitter at DGoddess27. Enjoy the rest of this lovely day. Do something productive and constructive, never destructive. Each one teach one. And I hope to see you all later in my chat for your daily vitamins. Till next time, beloveds, I will talk to you all again soon. Peace.
In order for you and me to devise some kind of method or strategy to offset some of the events or a repetition of the events that have taken place here in Los Angeles recently, we have to go to the root. We have to go to the cause. Dealing with the condition itself is not enough.
Dear Mr. Massa, I'm just trying to mind my own business. What's the matter? It's just another day, another black king captured. I'm about to lose my brain, stuck inside this ghetto rapture. I got a lot of smoke. If you want it, you can have it. They want a hat trick, but this is black girl magic. Ain't talking about the kind that'll make you disappear, but I'm talking about the power of the melanin within. Ain't looking for trouble, but I'ma say this one time. I put two dukes up if you try to touch mine. We still want justice for Tamir and Trayvon. You say you don't see color, but racism ain't blind. They targeting little kids whose skin look just like mine. So I'm paranoid, it's a war zone outside. And I'm a black queen, so if you ask me to step out of my car, you gon' have to snatch me. Cause I ain't going no damn well. Had to spend my whole life living unfair. Ancestors got my back and they right here. You can never understand, it's a nightmare. Living in my black shoes by the black rules. You can keep your handshake, I don't dap coon. The white man to go nuts if he cash you. But you all on his side like a damn fool. Make it make sense.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
We are exploited. We are downtrodden.
Make it make
Queen.
We are
sense.
denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation
Queen.
away from us or aside from us is come together
Queen.
against the common enemy. Who taught you to hate the texture of your
Ahmadiyyah.
hair? Who taught you to hate the color
Ahmadiyyah.
Parents, pay attention to the books, the school system, even to your little children. Lies mixed with wisdom. His skin too bright, so he was blind to the prison. My skin just right, so I collide with division. You trying to pray to God, but we tired of religion. No savior saving, we got to save our savings. We used to pay miss, how we gon' make the slave rich? But who's to blame, and tell me why you complaining? We need a team effort just to rule the nation. Like a bad relationship, missing communication. We missing moderation. They trying to get a poison to my population. No reparations, I'm getting tired of Satan.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
I'm getting tired of waiting.
We are downtrodden.
Queen.
We are denied not only